So it's like 6 in the morning, and I have been up since maybe 4. It was like 5:55 exactly when I started this video. And I initially wanted to do this for my future self, you know. So this video is to my future self, particularly my 26-year-old self. As you know, this is me. I'm you, but as 25 and 364 days. This is my last day living in this reality because you do know that, it's our birthday tomorrow. And I've always wanted to do a birthday video to you, but I was hoping that it would be under better circumstances. I hope it would be under better circumstances. I hoped it would be under much more favorable, scenarios. I just wanted to let you know that I've done all that I could. I did all I could, bro. I did all that I could, and as proud as I am to say that, I I know I have nothing to show for it right now. Nothing external, that is. You know, I have nothing tangible, nothing physical to say. What we have is small. What we have right now is very small, but it's ours. And um, I don't know if it's because, for everything renewed, things need to be empty, and I understand that. However, I'm sure as my 25-year-old self right now, I'm very, I'm very dedicated to honoring my emotions, to honoring my feelings, even if they're not the best reflection of what's to come. But I just won't sit and act like I'm not tired. I'll not sit like I'm not frustrated, you know. I'm not gonna sit like I'm not fighting for my life, for our lives, to do what needs to be done, to set you up with, you know, the opportunities that I know that you deserve, you know. So to you, my future self, but more especially my 26-year-old future self, I hope you know I loved you enough to show up for you every day. I I hope you know that I loved you enough to make sure that I was the last to have to carry that abuse, to carry that disrespect, to carry the uncertainty. I hope you know that I was the last to bear that cross so that you didn't have to, you know. I know it's normal for a lot of people to kind of just like, oh, I'll deal with this later, I'll deal with this later until they're like 30 and, they have no choice but to deal with it. Or 50. Oh, yeah. And then it comes, catching up to them. I hope you know that I loved you enough to know that, to want you to never have to deal with that, to never have to, you know, face the battles that I was supposed to face simply because I was too scared to face them, or simply because, um, I was procrastinating things. I know you're going to have your own battles, and I know that you need to be fresh and ready for those. And procrastinating my battles would have meant that you had to deal with more when it was time for yours. So, I hope you can see my efforts for you. And I I know you can carry and continue with vitriol and strength and like a fitness that we, as your past selves, never had before, because you'll be the first of us that has tasted, this freedom and this independence and this free will that we fought so hard for. I sound like a politician that was in the struggle, but you get me. You'll be the first of us that'll be able to actually hold space to receive love and harvest what we sowed. And I know there's a list of things that we never got to do. Like we never got to say, age 25, I done copped an Eldorado that my daddy drove when I was still in high school. All things considered, I think that we're fine with that. Um, we never got to finish reading those books. You've been on like your 12th artist page for like 2 years now, if not a year and a half. We never went on that date. I We never quite finished any of our projects, although we're a lot further than what we were before. We've started, we just need to finish. You know, we haven't quite figured ourselves out financially. If anything, we're probably worse off than before. And you still haven't become famous off of your talents, but there's reasons, and I genuinely believe you know what those reasons are, and more importantly, you are content with why things are the way that they are. You've figured out you found your voice, you figured out your voice, you figured out your messaging, and you finally have or rather a clear way of communicating that messaging. And I'm so proud of us for being able to do that. you know you probably know this already, but we started this year homeless, and what we didn't expect happening is that we didn't expect for us to stand 10 toes on our decisions and make people stand on theirs as well. We were hungry. We're still hungry, but we were at so much peace. Like, we knew the sacrifice that would need to come for us to be able to spread our wings and take the risks that we took. And certain risks were just really as worth it as they were costly on our body, on our mind, and our situation, which led us to where we are. It's not the idealistic of situations. It's not the most ideal of situations, but you're finally out of the nest, and now you can see why it took so long. You know, you've we've reversed so many generational curses. We've worked very closely with our ancestors to make sure that happens, and we've done all that we can do on our end. You know, we've missed a lot of meals. We've missed a lot of meals, but on the bright side, at least you're back to your, original weight. You know that I felt a little weird adjusting to the new frame that I had when that weight picked up. Um, but also simply because it's your new body, and it's your like your adult body is always going to be different from like you know your body before the frontal lobe closed. So I understood that. However, yeah, I've always been weird about that. So I hope you don't feel weird too much about that. You've learned your own way of protecting yourself from narcissistic people and people that want to drain your energy. You realize that you can create your own idea of what safety is, your own idea of what security is, and what that looks like for you. And best of all, you are living for you and you're not living for others. We've always had the blueprint to like our success since we were 16 years old, but we got caught up in the distractions and we ended up not following our rules. So you know better now. I give that little kid and I hope you do too. We give that kid, oh, we give him all the praise because he was so smart and so forward thinking. But he was also a child, so he was not going to be able to handle those blessings the way we would. But now we've learned from his mistakes. We've learned to set boundaries like we've never had before, and it's still triggering, but you're drawing the line in the sand for everything for everything and everyone essentially. And the tape, please finish it. Please finish the tape. It sounds so good. I, I've gotten as far as I can with what I had, and now you just have to like make the missing pieces come together. We're literally so close. We're literally so close. You have the privilege of feeding yourself solely off of your creative expressions right now. We literally eat this shit. We create not only to express or to escape, but now it's to survive. Don't sleep on that. Don't take that lightly. We are in a blessed position. We've never had to, and there's nothing wrong with having to work like a job that you don't want to work simply because you get to feed yourself, but we get to feed ourselves off of our creative expression. It's very few people are in that position, so don't take that lightly. And I've taken this as far as I have, as far as I could. Just piggyback off of that. We have the momentum. We're finally doing that hairstyle. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. We're taking a massive chance on ourselves. Every chance that we took, and now you're finally seeing, the payoff. And I also made sure to work on our sense of urgency, so you'll feel that. And I hope you know that I've done the best that I could, especially for for younger us. We finally got back to doing the things that we love to do as a child. Like, younger us is beaming with joy right now, despite everything. Like, he feels so loved, he feels so protected. He he won't stop crying because of the tears of joy. We enjoy wrestling with him. We watch cartoons with him. You know, like, I know he's an understanding kid. He's always been an understanding kid, but like, when you get the chance, please take him out for Gold Reef. Take him out for some ice cream, because I promised him that for his birthday. And by the looks of things, we won't be able to keep that. And I like keeping my promises to him. I've been doing that consistently this year. I've done a good job so far, so I don't want the last thing I do before I give the reins to you be disappointing him. You know. Also call your siblings. I've done a decent job in maintaining a good relationship with them, so keep that going for me. I know it's like, you know, our fourth house perfection year or something. I don't know. And I don't know why this Fire Burns by Killswitch Engage is playing in my head, but yeah, even through the darkest days, this fire burns always. So I guess that's what you need to always remember. You get to be the first amongst us that can use their abilities to like alchemize without the limitations or the limiting beliefs we've had before, and I've worked on all of that for us to the best of my ability. And I hope you take this as a gift from me, from us, because that's all I can give. You know, we won't get the elaborate party, we won't get the cake, we won't get the celebrations, we don't get to go out the way we wanted to. This is going to be the most loneliest and most difficult transition for you, and I hope you know that I did all I could and more. Nobody's coming to save us, but by now I'm sure you wouldn't have had it like any other way, because you're sick and you're twisted and you're demented, and that's the only thing that you could be, because why else would you love this hustle like this? I know you're prepared for a fight. And the good news is that everything we've ever wanted, everything we've ever desired, everything that's ever called to us is on your side of the road now. You know, you you get to be the one to harvest everything. I did all the heavy lifting. I So that you don't have to. I carried the load that was weighing on us so that nothing slows you down when you reach for the skies. And I hope you know that was enough because I took my final blow today. And I'm going to spend the rest of my day, the rest of this time, just resting so that you don't have to carry on with this fatigue that I'm currently feeling, that we're currently feeling. So I just ask that you carry on. Hold your head high. This was a successful year. It was a successful year because everything that has ever called to us, we followed that call. But nobody said it was going to be easy. But I hope you just carry on.